Hey y'all, Harry back. It's day 4 in October, so here I am. I've at least done it 4 days in a row. That's more videos than you got in like the last 3 months, so you're welcome. I don't even know if anyone watches these, but I find it helpful for me, and that's, I guess, all I can control, so that's good. Anyway, I said that today I was going to talk about future self journaling. So I am. Well, you might be wondering, what is future self journaling? Is it really just that obvious? Is it just future self journaling? And you're right, viewer. It is just that obvious, sort of. I'm going to link to the person who really got me inspired to try this and to do this. And that person is on Instagram, and they are the Holistic Psychologist. And they are fantastic. You should follow them. They post great things. They are working on their own journey, and they have some fantastic ideas. And I'm not going to do them justice on what they have done. They have blog posts about their future self-journaling, and they have come up with all the templates. But I'm going to just kind of walk you through what I do. I'm also going to then kind of tell you how it's impacted me. So, the Holistic Psychologist, the first step in this journey is to come up with what habit you are really trying to focus on, or behavior or thought process that you're really trying to work on and you want to focus on for the next at least 30 days. And then it asks you a bunch of questions in this step 1 process about what that is. And then from there, every day you are going to be journaling on that. So for me, what that looks like for me right now is the behavior that I'm working on is to be able to access and channel my emotions versus my analytical and logical side and give them the space that they need. So being able to freely access those and not be constrained to, I'm only feeling feelings and I can't think that, or pretty much what always happens with me is I'm just being far too analytical and that's all I'm being is analytical and I'm not having feelings with that. So that's kind of my focus right now is feelings, okay? And it goes through and there's 7 prompts every day. The first one being a daily affirmation, which if you've done any kind of psychological development, that's actually in a lot of things, is this daily affirmation. What are you saying to yourself? Then you're gonna go and focus on today. I will focus on shifting my pattern of blank. So what are you working on? What behaviors are you working on? The third thing is I am grateful for. Once again, gratitude journals. That is something that is very, very, we know, tied to happiness, but also just overall satisfaction and a good outlook on life, because it is sometimes really, really hard to focus on what is actually going well in your life when there's maybe some other things that aren't going so well. The next thing then is going to be 3 traits my future self will have. And this is a beautiful question because it really just lets you look and see, like, what are you trying to change? What is it that you are hopeful that you will have or you will have gained? And so for me, I have 3 traits that I'm finding as a pattern of confidence, vulnerability, and authenticity. And those are very powerful things, and obviously this is just me sharing, but those are things that I have noticed that I wish I was that, and I find I am not those at times, or that I'm not them to the fullest extent. And so that's what I'm really focusing on changing. And so by imagining that this is what my future self will be, I'm hopeful that I will gain that and that I will be focusing on that, and I can imagine what it feels like to have that confidence. Like, what does it feel like to be that confident person and to be that authentic person and to be that vulnerable person who's willing to take risks? So that helps me get into the mode of that. The next thing is going to be the person I am becoming will experience more blank. And this is another thing, it gives you your why. You know, oftentimes we have these ideas and we start doing whatever it is, and we don't have a why, so it just falls by the wayside. And this gives you your why. Why am I doing this? You know, I want more connection, I want more authenticity, I want more love and joy and peace in my life. And I mean, that sounds pretty great, doesn't it? Right? The next thing is going to be, I have the opportunity to be my future self today when. And this is also a great question because it's putting the future into the now. So an actionable step or an actionable thought. So sometimes that's not very good. Like I'm going to say on weekends, there's times I don't really interact with people. So it's not like I can practice being vulnerable with people, but I can practice being vulnerable with myself. I can practice that confidence with myself. And how am I going to do that? And what do those little steps look like? And then the final thing, which I think is one of the more impactful, if not the most impactful of the questions that are asked daily, is when I think of who I am becoming, I feel blank. And for me, that is just a fantastic question because one, we know I don't feel things very often and that's changing, but two, it allows me to understand like, what will I feel? Once again, another why. And it kind of just lets me check in with myself, like, how am I feeling about this? How am I feeling about my trajectory and my journey? And it's beautiful because you can look at this like my future self as in 5 years, or you can also look at it in terms of in a week or in 30 days, which is really cool to think about that like it is that such a small chunk of time, but it is also so powerful. So much can happen in that time. So that for me is just what this future self journaling is about. And you can take the trans out of it and it's still a wonderful, wonderful thing. But adding in that trans part too, it's, okay, I have other things that I need to work on, but I can also work on like this authenticity piece. Authenticity is, yeah, I want to be in touch with my emotions and my feelings and my logical side, and I want to do it in a genuine way, in an authentic way. And so what does that look like through my transition? And what does that mean? And how do I take that step to go to the next level? And I think another thing, based on what I've read and what I've seen and listened to on podcasts, when you start hormones, your thought processes do change. And so I think it will be interesting to have this in my tool belt to be able to be like, okay, I can do this. And it will also be super fascinating to see how much I've changed and to see how my thought processes have changed. So I know that she recommends doing this every morning. I am going to be honest. I'm not exactly not a morning person. I like mornings, but I don't always wake up early enough to do this or in enough of a mindset to do this before work. I have to be at work usually at like 7, so I have to leave even way before that. So I actually do this at night, and I find it still works for me because I'm able to focus on the next day and what is going on, what my day looks like, and how I'll be able to implement this stuff in my next day. And if you want to choose to believe that stuff in your dreams and while you're sleeping and your self-conscious happen, I do. I think that can happen. It just feel, like the last kind of thing that I think about is this future self journaling. And so I think it helps me to subconsciously process some things. That's just my experience. I don't know. That's not based in any science or theory or fact. And as I guess I would consider myself a scientist at that point, I'm not going to project that it is science or that it is research-based. It is strictly an N=1 experiment, and N=1 being me. So, I highly recommend doing this future self-journaling. I've been doing this, a little over 50 days, so it's almost 2 months, and so we're on my second behavior. And honestly, I think that it's really just nice to have a routine. It's really changing some thought processes. It's really getting me in touch with emotions and feeling them in the moment. And the other thing, at first when I started this, I was like, I'm writing the same damn things every day. Like, I'm writing that I want to be confident, I want to be this, or I am confident, I am this. I am grateful for Earl, my dog. I am grateful for blah. And I'm like, this is like so mundane. Like, I feel like I need to be having a thesaurus available to change the emotions. And then I kind of had a little epiphany, and I realized that it is actually the process of doing this and making it the same almost, or being somewhat ritual about it and routine, that is the process. I don't have to have other words for it. It's kind of like in music, right? You have to learn your scales. There's just no way about it. And people hate practicing their scales. They don't understand it. They're like, this is stupid. It's so boring. Like, why would I do this? I just want to play music. Well, if you don't have that framework of the scales under your fingers or the sounds in your ears, you can play probably those solos and those music and you can say things, but are you doing it to the best of your ability? Can you branch out from that? Probably not if you want to do it at a high enough level. And that's really what I found, is this gives me a framework to kind of have a paradigm of what the future looks like for me, and also then gives me those words and what I can fall back to, like that framework and that background. And from there, I will be able to grow and expand, but I can't do that until I have the proper base. Those are my thoughts on future self-journaling. I highly recommend it. If you have questions, feel free to let me know. Give me a shout out. And also, make sure you go follow the Holistic Psychologist, because she is fantastic. She just hit 1 million viewers, or I guess what they call them, followers on their Insta. She's awesome. She's doing a lot of great things, and she has definitely impacted my life. So, y'all have a great day. Have a good weekend, and I'll be back at you tomorrow. I don't know what I'm talking about tomorrow. Sorry. Okay. Bye.